Okay, so I figured I would do this. The direct has not been officially confirmed yet, but it's kind of pretty much guaranteed it's gonna happen. And honestly, I'm not gonna be around when it gets announced, so I'd rather take the chance on it not happening than not be able to do this. I will keep it short since it hasn't officially been confirmed, but also, like, I always keep it short anyway. It's not like I have too much to say about these, and it's not like anyone watches them either. This is mostly just to document my own thoughts. So I'm just gonna get right into it. You're gonna see a very lacking amount of third parties here. I feel like most of the big third parties you would expect to be coming already have. So there's only, I don't know, like 3 of them on this image. The bulk of the stuff here is first party, because frankly, it's just more fun to predict those. And also, we're due for quite a few announcements. As many as are on here, God no, but maybe a couple of them. I don't know. We'll see. I guess I'll just dive right into the more obvious things. Metroid Prime 4. We have to see a trailer. Whether it's delayed or not, we're gonna see something. I do feel like a delay is pretty damn likely, unfortunately. I'm not a big Metroid guy, so that's not heartbreaking to me. But this, whenever it comes out, will be a game of the year contender. So I would love to see it. Like, for the Metroid fans, they've been waiting for this since it's announced in 2017, and I believe the like cancellation and re-announcement was in 2019, and they'd probably already been working on it for at least a couple of months at that point. So this game should be nearing completion. I know there's been demos of it. I don't know if it's been recently, but I know there was demos around when it was re-shown off a couple months ago, and the game seems to run fairly solidly. So I don't know what's going on with Retro. I know there was a headline that came out a while ago that they ran into some unforeseen circumstance, but said unforeseen circumstance they say happens at every single one of their games. So I don't know if they're just reusing code that's made like terribly, like what is going on with them. But we'll see. Hope Metroid's a mess. I'm sorry. Following this, not like the games itself, obviously, but following the saga of this game taking so damn long has been really interesting. I feel like you could make a documentary about this, and there's no way that's not gonna happen. I feel like the Retro Studios tends to do stuff like that. There's a lot of like interviews and like art books and all that. They're like in retrospect, like 10 years after it happens, after the games come out. So eventually, this is gonna be a story we're gonna hear about. Regardless, not too much else to say about that. To the right of that, I have. This isn't award vendor because I couldn't really find a good one of him. And either way, it's obvious. It's a Mario Kart prediction. Probably just DLC. I assume. Initially, the thought was that it would be focused around Bonanza, but that window is somewhat closed. But also, this is not really an issue to just like throw more Donkey Kong characters in there, add a cup, or just character skins, whatever. Any of those things, maybe all three, maybe none of them, who knows, but there will be something for that. It's been rumored there's going to be some sort of Pokemon spin-off coming soon. I don't exactly know what it would be, and frankly, I'm not too into any of the Pokemon spin-offs, which, side tangent, I started playing Soul Silver again recently with a friend. Oh my god, maybe I'm just spoiled by other RPGs, but that shit was the most boring thing I've ever like a little bit of hyperbole there, but it's Pokemon just doesn't hit the same for me anymore. And what especially doesn't hit and never has is Mystery Dungeon. I hate the Mystery Dungeon games. I know people love them, but I am not one of those people, dude. Worst gameplay I've ever had, in my opinion. After that, I have a Yoshi's Woolly World. God, that's fucking hard to say. My bad. Uh, Remaster because we had at the Switch 1 Direct, that was a week before Switch 2, we had it essentially just leak out within the Direct itself. I believe in the UK version of it, they just had the Wii U box out for of it, but with the Poochie content from the 3DS version mixed in. So that was new art that they had to deal with. So there's definitely something going on with that. It's probably already ready. It's just a matter of when they want to do something with it. Uh, then I feel like Xenoblade 2 Definitive Edition is somewhat likely, because of the Xenoblade games, it is the one that runs the worst on Switch 1. They could pack the DLC in with it, they probably won't, but Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Definitive Edition doesn't seem that out the window. I mean, it's been 8 years since it came out. Do I think it's necessary? No. But even then, it doesn't even need to be a definitive edition. Just upscale it, do all that garbage. Steins Gate reboot. I mentioned this last time. What is going on with this game? They said it would be out by October, and it's September, and we haven't heard anything about it. So this game definitely hit development hell. That always seems to happen with the Steins Gate devs. I know Steins Gate Zero Elite was gonna happen, and then we just never heard anything about it for years, so whatever. And then there was the new game, Steins, whatever. They haven't given us the second word, but there was some sort of new game coming out, and we haven't heard anything about that. So what is going on with this franchise, and why can they never get anything out? This shit seems like a money laundering scheme almost. Uh, and then, not necessarily am I predicting specifically Layton versus Phoenix Wright, but I want to talk about both of those franchises. I think Professor Layton will probably be here, not guaranteed, but probably. Ace Attorney, apparently, people say that it won't be here because the guy from Switch Force said it wouldn't be, but I don't know, man. I wouldn't say I particularly trust him, but either way, Ace Attorney could. Never said, he just said it wouldn't be Ace Attorney 7. It could be Investigation 3 or Phoenix Wright versus Layton. Either way, I just give me something, Ace Attorney, man. I beg of you. I've been replaying through the Investigations games recently, which, by the way, the first one is very rough. I'll probably talk about it extensively one day, but not too much else to say about that. Next, I have a couple of Switch 2 editions I think are semi-likely. I have 3 here. 3D All-Stars with Galaxy 2 for the anniversary. There's not too much to say there, just added Galaxy 2. Thousand Year Door with like that Luigi side mode everyone's been expecting for a while, because he goes on like this little side quest in the game that you hear about but you don't really know too much about it. Just make that like a 4-hour long campaign, smack it on, people will buy it. And then Pikmin 4, I feel like this is the most likely Switch 2 edition at this point, at least in my opinion. I've never played one of the Pikmin games. I have 3, I just haven't played it yet. I'm intending to get the others eventually. And then Kirby Air Riders, we'll get some other character announcement. I don't know who. I'm not too invested in most of the stuff with this game. Have we gotten Marks yet? I know we've gotten Gooey, Susie. I don't know much beyond that. What about that blue guy from Forgotten Lands? I could see him being in it. Partially as cross-promotion for the Forgotten Lands Switch 2 edition that just came out. Beyond that, Splatoon Raiders, I feel like is going to get a tradable, and it'll probably be what opens or closes this thing. If I had to guess, Splatoon and Metroid will be the open and closing things, and then like the big middle announcement will be Fire Emblem, is my thought at least, which I'll get to that. But Raiders, I'm excited for it. I would have, if you made me predict what kind of gameplay style a Splatoon single-player only game would have, I would have said it would be a roguelike. But now that we've got Inside Order, I don't really know what they're gonna do with it. They could really do anything. I'll play it. I love the Splatoon games. I would love one that's focused specifically on single-player content, because I feel like with each game, they are getting better at making single-player stuff. Plus, it's just cool to see the franchise expand. Beyond that, we have these 2 games, which were announced in the Switch 1 Direct. That was a week before the Switch 2 one. Tomodachi Life was maybe my most wanted game ever to get a sequel. I'm so excited for the sequel. I probably won't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the original game as a kid, but still, I love Tomodachi Life. It's like a little ant farm that you can't quite manipulate, but the little tricks you make to try, honestly, make it fun. The limitations are kind of part of the appeal of the game, at least to me. It's kind of a game you also don't have to focus on too much. For so long, I'll just kind of put it on the side while doing other things. Rhythm Heaven, I'm not a Rhythm Heaven guy. Either way, both of these games I expect to be quarter 1 or late quarter 2 games next year. Speaking of quarter 1 or 2 games, I think Age of Imprisonment is being delayed They'll probably come out super early, like February or something. Probably see some more characters for it. Like maybe how the new champions work. I hope to God there was no time travel bullshit. Even though I fuck with time travel bullshit as evidenced by Steins Gate. But hopefully there's nothing like what they did in Age of Calamity, because that was just dumb as hell. Speaking of time travel bullshit, Final Fantasy VII Remake, we'll see it. We'll get a date. Similar with some of the other games that were announced at the Switch 2 showcase, such as Elden Ring, that's probably due for a date at this point. Maybe we'll see something again for Duskbloods, though I do kind of doubt it. That kind of thing. And then finally, I've been saying it every time one of these comes around, there has to be something for Fire Emblem coming up. I put 7 here just because there's that rumor that I touched on earlier about games with 7 in it from the Switch Force guy. So maybe Fire Emblem 7 could get the remake. I know people have theorized that for a while, because it would kind of make sense, because it's the first FE game in the West. It's easy to market, because everyone loves Lyn, they love Hector. They tolerate Eliwood, who's here. Um, so I feel like 7 would make sense, but it's also mostly just here because recent recent headlines. And then finally, the more likely thing we get for Fire Emblem would be not Thracia, a genealogy remake. Maybe with the Thracia content included. I cannot not stumble over my words, so whoops. But God, I really want to play FE4. The remake has to be happening eventually. I know there was theories that like each of the main FE protagonists, not each, but many of the FE protagonists had icons that came with Switch 2, and Sigurd was strangely missing. So maybe that's pointing to something. I don't know, but God, just give me something Fire Emblem. There's a couple other possibilities. It could be a brand new game. I think we're gonna get a remake first, but it could be a new game, or also maybe like a Awakening HD, simple thing. Hell, maybe they could even do a Three Houses Nintendo Switch 2 edition. But if any Nintendo franchise to get a new announcement here, Fire Emblem is my #1 pick, and also the one I want to see the most. I do think it's semi-likely we do get like a Mario 40th Anniversary Direct eventually. When? Later this month. Or they could just have that content in this Direct, so I did talk about a couple Mario things. But besides that, I don't have much else to say. Frankly, as I stated earlier, I do these mostly just as a way to chronicle my own thoughts. I don't really expect any engagement. I also just do it because I feel like it would be weird if I like did a couple of them and then just never did them again. So yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. Uh, God, I like Starman.